This tech tip is email don'ts. It's the second in a three-part series about email etiquette. Parts 1 and 2 are email do's and don'ts, and they focus on a general audience, internal or external. Part 3 focuses specifically on email with customers. Our first email don't is don't be unprofessional. There are several things that we can do in email that would make us seem to be unprofessional. For instance, don't use slang, shorthand, or emojis. Slang can be very different depending on the group of people or the culture that you are with. Shorthand, or like for instance, acronyms, can be very different and very confusing depending on what industry that you're in. And emojis are meant to be personal. Now, you could break this, you could avoid this if you know the person personally. If you have a personal relationship or a very friendly relationship, you could use slang, shorthand, or emojis, but make sure that you know your audience. Second, don't use crazy fonts and colors. It makes it hard to understand. The key of email is to get the point across quickly. When you use crazy fonts and colors, you can't see what's going on. Don't use inappropriate humor. This is another place where you really need to think about your audience. Humor is something that is different across cultures, and you can create something that's very, very bad, a big faux pas, very easily. It's easier to just avoid the humor altogether. Watch your tone. Don't email when you're angry, when you're really frustrated about something. Don't email then, give it a minute, wait a little while, and then email later. And for crying out loud, do not use all caps or lots of exclamation points. We hate all caps or lots of exclamation points because it seems like you're yelling at somebody. And the last thing is proofread. Look over what you've written. Make sure to proofread every email that you send, even if it's just a little brief one. Our next email don't is don't assume it's private. Email might seem like it's a private conversation between you and one other person, but it's really easy for it to change. Nothing is confidential. Forwarding is very, very easy to do. You can forward it to one person. You can forward it to 1,000 people. You can put it up publicly on the internet so anybody can see it at any time. Anything you email can and will be held against you. Make sure to check yourself that you're not putting anything out there that you don't want to be public. The next email don't is something that's very important to us in the title industry, and that's don't get tricked into a wire fraud scam. The main way that wire fraud is going to spread is they will email you saying, hey, I want to change the details for this transaction. Never, ever, ever trust wire instructions that are sent through email, especially if they're requesting changes. You always want to follow up in another method of communication. Always deal with details either in person or over the phone through a trusted phone number, which you have obtained either from a business card, the company's website, or a similar source, not from an email. Do not use email for this. Always call the person or talk to them in person. Our final email don't is don't email when you shouldn't. Email is a limited form of communication. It's really great for some things, really terrible for others. We've all been in these endless back and forth emails that are ping pong, go back and forth, and we're not really getting anything done. Sometimes when there's a lot of details we have to check on, a 30-second or 60-second phone call can save hours back and forth emailing. Email is really bad with time-sensitive or last-minute changes. When you're going to change an appointment 10 minutes beforehand, you're running late, something like that. You can't guarantee that somebody is going to be able to see that in email. Email is really bad for giving bad news, sensitive or emotional information, because it dehumanizes that bad news and it makes it seem like you're kind of a jerk, really. So use a different method to communicate bad news or emotional information. Use a method such as Teams. Teams can do chat or voice or video. Use phone, use a text, use in person. Just talk to somebody. Make sure that your message matches the method that you're sending that message. I'm John Weldy, tech trainer at Near North Title Group. Near North is committed to utilizing technology to create efficiency in the workplace and help employees do their jobs more easily. If you'd like to work for a company that promotes a learning culture, then visit nntg.com/career to view our open positions and get to know us.